Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Carlene plus
Jamie.
We are excited and delighted that you joined us again for another episode of us kind of keeping it real, just kind of talking to you about our experience as a married couple and all the things. So we're just so grateful again that you have joined us, and please go ahead and subscribe if you have not already done so. We truly appreciate the support, and we could not be any happier for it.
Absolutely. And we appreciate the fact that you've been loving the content that we've been putting out and that you've been rocking with us. But yet still, there are some of you that are watching that are not subscribers. And why not? You're watching already, so you might as well just subscribe. So thank you for those of you that have been rocking with us and have been messaging us. We read all the comments and we love the feedback. So yeah, I'm excited about how our show has progressed over the years, especially when we go back and look at those old episodes.
Those old episodes will keep you humble.
They keep you humble. And we're not even where we should be or where we want to be. So we're just thanking God for the progression, and we just want to keep moving forward.
Yes, indeed. So last week we had such a great conversation. I have to say, I enjoyed all of our conversations, but there's some of them that stand out. And I felt like last week's conversation about, how to essentially become, how it's so easy to become distant, separated, from your spouse, even though you're living in the same house.
Right.
How that wedge can happen, and you kind of live in a roommate phase, and how important it is to kind of take stock and realize, whoa, there's a lot happen. We're losing the connection. What things do we do to ensure that we remain connected?
Right.
And honestly, I think that this is one of the ways that you and I remain connected.
It's true.
Keep us talking, keep us growing, doing something together that we both enjoy. I think that also, we didn't highlight that last week, but I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, yeah, this actually does bring deeper connection for you and I.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, the fact that we can come before a camera, sit down and talk together, spend meaningful time together, reminisce about our relationship. And then even things like there's conversations that we have after we do the show about what we talked about. It's almost like, man, we probably should have had the cameras continuing rolling. But yeah, connecting, resetting your marriage, all of that. And I'll drop a link in this episode so that you could go back and watch it. But yeah, that was a real good conversation. I thought it was really meaningful. I appreciated it.
And I think this conversation is going to be just as meaningful as we talk about our journey and how did we decide, or why did we decide to wait 2 years to have children? What was that journey like, and why it was so important for us to establish a strong foundation for our marriage by waiting that time for us to start having children.
Yeah. You ready to jump right in?
Jump.
All right, going in the pool first. I know that personally, one of the reasons why I wanted us to wait before we had our first child was I felt that there's a difference between dating and marriage. And we enjoyed each other in our dating stage. We had a lot of time to enjoy each other. Those of you that don't know, 7 years, long distance for most of it, that we enjoyed ourselves dating. But I wanted us to enjoy ourselves married, because dating and marriage are completely two different worlds.
Night and day.
And I felt that bringing a child into the world, if God allowed us to, or if something happens and God allows us to have a child early, we would have made the adjustments. But I needed to know you. I needed to have fun with you. I needed to just have the space between us and not share it with somebody else.
Yes, agreed. And so during our premarital counseling that's when we decided that we wanted to wait 2 years. 2 years, we felt we were comfortable enough to wait. Now, Jamie and I were 28 years old. And so we knew that we wanted to not wait too long to have a child.
Right.
And so in that period, as we were thinking, processing through that, we kept in mind the fact that, 2 years, I'll be 30, right? And we'll be 30 years old and, thinking about a woman's body and trying to, make sure that we have the energy and everything to create a good space for us to be able, for me to carry a child and for Jamie to, to be there in support of, to play with the child and have all the energy and stuff like that. That was important for us and to us. And so after that counseling session, we talked and we were just like, yeah, I think 2 years is it feels good enough for us to, as Jamie said, learn each other in this new role as husband and wife. And I think for us, we too were anticipating being able to spend time with each other because distance separated us so much. And so we're just like, we couldn't wait. It was almost like kids in a candy store. Like we couldn't wait to be able to just stay home. We didn't necessarily need to travel. And in hindsight, we wish we did travel. We wish we did take advantage of traveling at that time. But we just thoroughly wanted to enjoy the simple things in life, which was to come home from work, have dinner together, sit down on the couch, watch TV, just stay home and just do us.
Right.
And so that is something that we highly valued.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we were young, still pretty young. I feel that if we were, I know we've had this conversation that maybe if we were in a different situation, maybe in the Caribbean, we would have got married way younger.
For sure.
We would have probably had kids before 28 or before 30. But I just think that it was important for us to really want to get to know each other.
Yes.
And it was important for us to kind of like be fair to the child as well and to be fair to each other, because children, for those of you that are parents that are listening to us right now, that it's a life, it's a human. They're babies. They take up so much time. You have to make sure you're doing this and doing that for them, naturally so, because they can't do it for themselves. And I know that we discussed it in counseling, that kind of ripple so soon, maybe we probably would not have been able to handle it, or maybe we would have been able to handle it, but just would have been a lot for us in the early stages of our marriage.
I knew in that if I did get pregnant before that 2-year mark, I definitely feel as though I would have some sort of resentment or some sort of like a buildup of like, man, I didn't feel like I got to know you enough, or we set a strong we didn't have a chance to set a really strong foundation, getting to know each other in this new phase of our lives.
Right.
And so I think that, one of the preventative measures that we took was I decided to go on birth control, which we felt was at the time was safer and healthy. It was just my choice, and Jamie was fine with it, and so that kind of really helped us to,
Right, and we use condoms at some point in our in the beginning stages of our marriage as well. So that we were trying to be as very careful as possible, even though we know that these things aren't
100%.
foolproof, 100%. What is it, like 99.9%? And that all it takes is that 0.1% to get through, and it's a wrap. And we have friends and we know people who tried to do everything correctly, and the Lord still moved on the womb, and they have a child today. But we were intentional about ensuring that we didn't divert from the plan that we prayed about and that we agreed upon.
And so I think sometimes in like the excitement of, okay, you get married, you check the box of I got married, and now a child should be soon to follow. And for us, I'm just really proud that we really stuck to it. And it was never in that 2-year frame. I never came to Jamie and was just like, okay, do you think we should start trying now or whatever? But it was literally the day, May 11th, 2010. 2010, it's when we talked and we prayed and we're like, oh, that 2-year mark has landed. And so even before that, I believe that, of course, I was weaning myself off of the birth control. But we were so intentional about that time frame, and it worked for us. We completely understand that it may not work for others. Some people may want to have a baby much sooner. Some people may want to take 3 years, 5 years in order to begin thinking about children, not thinking about including children into your family. But I do know that for us, that those 2 years was just so solidifying. I feel like we did the work.
Yeah, we were able to pick up and go wherever we wanted to go. We were able to spend our money on ourselves. We were able to do everything that we wanted to do because we were newlyweds and we wanted to keep that going. But as you're talking, and to anybody who's listening, I think what was important about the dynamic in our relationship and when deciding to have children was that we were always in communication.
Yes.
So it was always a conversation about, no, we're not ready yet. And then there was another conversation about, yes, let's do this. And so I think for any couple that's watching and you just got married or you're about to get married, it is so important that you have conversations about children, and then particularly too about bringing a child into the world, because I think it's good that we were on one accord.
Yes.
But if it's a case where it's like, no, I want to have children today, and the other spouse is saying, no, I want to have children tomorrow or down the road, you two really need to unpack that and really need to talk about the reasons why you want to have children now or why you want to have children later. We knew that our big why was because we just wanted time to soak each other up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that conversation of children came very early in our counseling sessions, right? Like it was something before we got married. We didn't wait until we got married to start having these conversations. It was way before we got married did we start thinking and processing through what we wanted.
Yeah.
And thank God we were both in one accord, where one wasn't like, I want to have children like right now, and the other was like, no, I want to wait. Thank God that was not our case at all. But I do know that starting the conversation early before you get married is so important, as it is just about anything else, right? Finances, when you're talking about budgeting, when you're talking about spending habits, when you're talking about, expectations, right? What do you expect for me to do? What do you want our life to look like from day to day? Those are very important conversations that need to be had, so that it takes away the element of surprise when you get married and you're not like, oh snap, I didn't even think about that, or oh snap, I didn't prepare for that as well as I could have. Now, everything you won't be prepared for. There are going to be lots of surprises in marriage, but if you can lessen the surprises, do that, like stat. And so talking through, communicating with each other, like what your intentions are, what your desires are, and not being afraid or feeling ashamed or feeling like he may not want that. He may want something else. No, go ahead and state what it is that you feel. And then hopefully it lands on a heart that's like open, and to receive what it is that you have on your heart.
Yeah. The keys, that's so good, because the keys to, I believe, a successful marriage is the ability for you to be able to communicate, is the ability for you to talk, to process, to cry together, to laugh together, to share experiences together. And if you see that you are not having good communication and you're not talking about things, or you're holding things in, then that's, to me, a red flag. And I think that's a recipe for disaster, because that means that only one side of the relationship is getting what they want. And it's important that you are always open dialogue and having a conversation on all the things that you mentioned, whatsoever it be, from children to finances to vacationing to all of that stuff. That stuff is excellent. But there was a point also that I wanted to talk about, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Dang, it was a good point too. It was a good point. I forgot what it is, but it has something to do with us as a couple. Oh yeah, us as a couple and why we wanted to wait. I also think that it's important to express to the people that also too, I think like our careers, at least, oh no, not the career. That's not what it is. But that we could talk about that. Financially, jobs and stuff. I always felt that when you told me you wanted to wait, and we agreed, now it's not you wanted to wait, I felt that as a man, I don't think it's my place to pressure you into having a baby sooner than you wanted to. I think we can have a conversation and say that if I want to, but I don't feel like it's my place to not coerce, but coerce or pressure or push you, because it's your body.
True.
It's you carrying it for 9 months, you pushing that baby out, and then the post, the post recovery from doing that. So I always strongly felt that the decision should, I mean, not ultimately, but you play a big part in that decision because it's your body. Like men, we're just the sperm donor.
Correct.
And then we walk away, and then your stomach is growing, your body is changing. So I've always felt like when you said you wanted the green light, then I'm cool and going along with it as well.
That's beautiful. I think it's beautiful when a man can see what it is that you saw, that you did not force it on me, that you didn't guilt me into it either, but it was you understood, like, I want children. We both want children, but ultimately leaving it up to me, even going through the process of birth control, right? The things the side effects of birth control, going through all of those changes. I think that's pretty dope that you, and I'm going to thank you so much for bringing that up, because I want to acknowledge you in that way. Like, that was pretty dope that you've always never forced or guilted me into anything that has to do with my body. Like, you just naturally embrace me, my body, and making me always feel like it's my choice, it's my decision. And I think that's so important, because when you think about all the changes that a woman's body goes through during those phases of being pregnant, it's no joke, right? And so you almost robbing me from me being able to consent to say, yes, I am ready to do this, not just for you, but for me.
Yeah.
I think that's so important because it's my body.
Right. It's your body. And I think my calling is to respect that, to respect your body, to respect your mind, to respect your decisions. And ultimately, wait, I think eventually if it got to an impasse or a challenge where you're just like, I don't want. Now, that's why the conversation about children is important, because that would definitely have to be a conversation prior to getting married if one of you or me were to say, I don't want to have kids, and the other one wants to have kids. Like, I believe that conversation shouldn't be after you say, I do. I think that's a conversation that needs to be before I do, because you want to walk into a marriage with little or minimize as much surprises. Because if you walk into it and you're like, yeah, we going to start, I want 4 or 5 kids, even the amount. And then the partner is like, well, no, I'm sorry, I don't want any kids. Now you locked in, and you got to make a decision about, man, one party is going to have to compromise, and you never ever want that kind of compromise.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's real tough. And I'm sure it's happened to many people, or, even discussing how many children, right? And I think that is a decision. And for me personally, other people may feel differently, but I think the amount of children that a woman wants to have should ultimately kind of be her decision, because it's her body, it's her organs, it's her, her figure, her face. I mean, all of the hormones, you're carrying twice the hormones in you. So I personally feel like that's ultimately their decision in regards to when, what, and how. And I think those are conversations you got to have before marriage.
For sure. And if it's a conversation, or if there's a change in your, before you said I want kids and now you say I don't want kids. I mean, bro, that's tough.
That is tough.
That is tough. Because what do you do in that moment? Do you suffer with knowing that this is something that you wanted, but now your partner is like, they don't want it anymore? And so you're just like, but this was a conversation that we had. Why in the world would you change it? Especially if you know how important it is to me. And then you change your mind and you tell me now that you don't want kids. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in.
And I think that if it happens after I do, where one is like, I don't want no kids, I think maybe there's a conversation that needs to be had, because I feel like there's probably something deeper. Because are you saying did you see something that made you say you don't want to have kids with me?
Right.
Did you learn of something? Did something happen to your body, or whatever it is? And as going back to what we said earlier, communication is vital. Like, you got to be able to talk, because you never want to leave your partner behind or at the side. You want them to walk through whatever you're going through so that you can grow together from it, not grow apart.
That's right. Because if you're communicating now that you no longer want children, what's the trigger?
Yeah.
I need to know. I need to know all the details. I need to know when it is that you started feeling that, and for you to be honest and open enough. I think the person deserves to know exactly what happened. And then now they have to make a decision on whether or not they want to stay in the marriage, because you no longer want that very thing that they really wanted. So that's tough. And I remember listening to the podcast that Michelle Obama and her brother has, and they had a scenario of such where I believe they were not married, but they were thinking about getting married or engaged, something like that. And so essentially the guy was like, I think the female was like, we talked about children. All of a sudden, the boyfriend, fiance, whatever, does not want children anymore. And like, what should I do? They were asking their advice. And so they were just kind of like talking through what should happen. But I mean, ultimately, if it's a make or break for you, like if you're like, I really wanted kids, but it's okay, it's not that big of a deal for me, then that's great. But if it's a big deal for you, I know for me, that's a deal breaker. Yeah. Hands down. That would be a deal breaker for me, because of, how much I love children.
Oh, yes.
And so it's a tough spot to be, but I think it comes down to the communication. And thank God we didn't have that experience, but we know that what we just talked about, made mention of, exists. And navigating that, I'm sure, is not easy at all. It's probably super hard to process through what that looks like.
Yeah, yeah. And we are not marriage experts. We only speak on what we know and what we've been through and what we can imagine what the situation is like. But, I think and I want to say that it's not wrong for someone to have a change of mind. People change, people think differently, but I think it is wrong if you're not informing your partner about the changes, about what's happening, because you don't want one partner feeling left out, and then or walking around with some kind of guilt, thinking like, what did I do? Like, did I do something? Was it the way I spoke to somebody, or something of that nature to make them say that they don't want to have children anymore?
Yeah, I don't know, but what I do know is that it's important for you to take stock of your relationship, your dynamics, your relationship dynamics, to know what works best for you. I know for us, we just expressed to you what worked well for us. And if I could say, it was a pretty seamless experience that we had, in that we really took time to learn so much more about each other. It was imperfect, right? There were moments where I was just like, oh my gosh, this brother, like, whoa, like certain things, like certain situations that we would experience together. And I would be like, mercy, wow, okay, we struggled through that one.
Oh.
Like, say for instance, so I feel like one of the ultimate ways to kind of check where you are in your marriage is buying a piece of IKEA furniture.
Oh yeah.
And put it together with your significant other.
Yo.
That right there, because when we got married, we bought a few IKEA pieces of IKEA furniture. And if you know anything about IKEA furniture, sometimes the directions, you get lost on it, right? Because sometimes the pictures are not matching. But in those moments, I remember saying to myself, wow, so this is how this right here can easily break up marriages, because Jamie is like, I'm reading directions. I'm going through the directions, right? Step by step. Jamie is more or less like, we don't need to do that. We don't need to focus on that level. I mean, on that, what they're asking you to do. Go, let's do this. I feel like I know what to do and how to do it. And I'm just like, brother.
Let me talk to IKEA real quick. I'm looking at this camera. IKEA, your directions with that little man and the little panic bolts around his head, it don't help nobody, at least in America. That Swedish man that y'all be consistently drawing on your directions, I can't stand him. He probably doesn't even like being in every box as well, because that thing frustrates me. And every IKEA piece of furniture that we've put together, there is always one piece left back. There's always one bolt. There's always one little screw. And you like, I know I put all the screws where it's supposed to. I cannot. I think we've stayed away from IKEA furniture lately.
Yeah, recently we've just been doing our furniture shopping elsewhere, essentially, where we don't have to put it together. It's already put together.
That's
and we
the kind
just
of
have
furniture
to ask,
I like.
We just have to have it delivered.
Deliver it.
But,
put together.
Moments like that in the beginning of our marriage, like those times where, of course you're in honeymoon phase and everything is beautiful and like, oh my gosh, Jamie could do no wrong. Like, it's just great, right? And then we have to put furniture together, and it's just like, wait a whole minute.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to say something like there were moments in our marriage where you were looking at me like, I don't know if I want to have babies with this guy.
No, never.
That's what I thought you were.
No,
that's what I say. Dang, what did I do? But yeah,
I'm talking about those. It wasn't big, right? It was just those little insertions into our lives that may have caused a little frustration on both of our part,
Right.
that tested, and we were able to work through them with no distraction.
Right.
The only distraction we had was work, or I think I was in school for a few months before
Yeah.
after we got married. You know what I
And
mean?
you
Like,
were still working at your old job,
yeah.
and I think you wanted a different job, and
yes,
we wanted
the
more income.
transitions, yes.
So I know that we're getting closer to the end of our time. But I do
Yes.
have a question for you. And
Yes.
I think this probably will help any probably couple that's watching us or anybody who's watching us right now. We said that we waited 2 years and we wanted time to know each other and to hang out and to do stuff. Is there anything or any advice or anything that you wish we did in those 2 years, those first 2 years of our marriage, that we did not do? That if you can go back to 2008 through 2010 and think about all the things that we did, was there anything that you wish we did more of or added to that 2-year break?
So two things that came to mind as you were asking that question. I think the first would be going out more.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we were homebodies, but rightfully so. When you came home from school, we did not have a bed to lay our head on. You know what I mean? Like I was in my house, you were in college, going back and forth and whatnot. So we did not have a place to cuddle on and, just kind of be a couple in that sense at home. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we became such homebodies, because we were just like really gushing on the fact that it was just a little thing of just being able to come home, me cook dinner, we have dinner at the table. After dinner, we would go and watch our favorite shows or whatnot. Like that for me was bliss.
Yeah.
So I feel as though like we could have done that, and we could have gone out more, like tried restaurants in New York City and just be a little bit more, I don't know, adventurous in that way. The second thing that I know that you would agree on, and we talk about this often, is the ability to travel, to go to different countries and explore. That's something that I wish we did more of. I think we were more focused on what I just mentioned, as well as saving, right? We were just like, yo, we trying to stack our money. We're trying to really ensure that we have not only a strong foundation mentally and spiritually, emotionally, but also financially.
Yeah.
We wanted to really establish ourselves in that way. And so we didn't necessarily, I don't think we knew, I don't think we even thought about it could be both and not and or. But yeah, those are my two. Would you agree? Or would you add to anything that I made mention of?
Yeah, definitely travel more, see the world. Mm-hmm. Traveling with children is great. We do it with our daughters, but to do it together alone, there's a lot more places that we could have gone and seen. I would definitely say that. And I would also say, I agree with your point about how we were saving money, but I would probably say I wish we invested more of that saved money. Like,
facts.
Yeah, like if there were
learning the game,
learning the stock market, learning, doing investments at that age when we first got married. I wish we probably did some more of that.
Yes,
agreed. But, I think whoever's watching, whatever you're watching, we had a game plan. I think game plans in marriages are important, and that you should plan it together, not just one person. Or if you're that person that knows that, like I know for Carlene, she is a better planner than I am. She can put things together. So I'm just like, hey, you can have that as long as she includes me in it. But I believe that just being able to have a strategy and having a plan and having a some sort of system to work together in your marriage, that you'll be on the path to you'll be on a good path.
Yeah, I agree. I like what you just included. Yeah, that would definitely, because I'm just thinking about like what if we did make or learn the game to be able to invest. Yeah. I mean, like I feel like that would have been
Yeah.
so
Who
amazing
knows
and
where
paramount.
we would have been right now. But,
yeah.
life's learning. And, we say, this is what we say we're Carlene plus Jamie. We are the couple you wish you had when you just got married.
Yes.
So we're just trying to get the game away for free.
Or you said the couple we wish we had.
Yeah, the couple we wish we had when we first got married. And maybe for you, somebody listening as well. So, but yeah, we just want to give away the game for free.
Facts. It's all about giving away the game and just learning how to be smarter in marriage, and just hoping and wishing that the little that we do share, or the more that we do share here in this space, that it will continue to cultivate healthier marriages, cultivate people that are in those beginning stages of their you're engaged and you're trying to really set yourself up and set your marriage up for success. We're just basically just trying our best to encourage, also to kind of like open your mind or open conversations for you to have with your significant other about marriage and the transitions it may bring, and planning and how important communicating to your spouse is. I mean, like that right there, when they say that communication is key, like they didn't lie. I used to think that they were fibbing a little bit. I was like, yeah, communication is not everything. Like
it is.
You got all the other things like sex. You have all the other things, like there's so much more. But no, communication is where it's at.
That's where it's at.
And so we just sincerely hope, honestly, and prayerfully hope that this episode, as well as the other episodes that we've shared, has been helpful to you. And if it has been helpful to you, hopefully it will be helpful to someone else. So we would love it if you can go ahead and share it with someone that you know that, they will really benefit from a conversation like the one we just had. And so, this has been a really good conversation once again.
Yep.
I just love chatting it up with you.
I love chatting it up with you too.
Okay. Okay, I see you.
I see you too.
All right, guys. Well, thank you yet again for joining us on another episode of Carlene Plus
Jamie.
This is your girl, and this is your boy.
Peace.
Peace.